Agenda with a site plan review and a non-public session of November 5th, 2025. We have two alternates and we have one empty seat tonight, I believe. No?
No, everybody's here.
What?
Everybody's here. We're good.
So we're good, we don't have to do that?
You're good.
Um,
You have to do you want to elevate alternates? I mean, that's up to you.
we should because I'm,
You're going. Yes, I really think.
Yeah, I'm gonna
like
bug
that,
out
please,
for most
after
of
the
the
last
meeting.
time.
so,
If they're sitting at the table, I think we need to elevate them either way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they shouldn't be up here. So I'll make a motion to elevate both alternates.
I'll second it.
a motion made and seconded to elevate our alternates. Joe and Donna? No, Joe and Tia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Sorry, just here. How many voting members are we gonna have? I was just a little unclear, like,
So,
it seemed like you were having more than you need for voting members.
We will.
So then you only up an alternate if you need them to vote, otherwise they stay an alternate.
Okay, so then the question is, should they be sitting at the table if they're not?
They can until it's time to vote, and then they should not participate in the vote, but they can
Okay.
participate in the discussions.
So
Okay.
Mark's gonna have to leave, so we're gonna lose him.
So you should have one alternate that will sit in place of Mark,
And we elevate them when Mark's done?
yeah. And sorry, I'm,
Not yet.
for those of you who haven't met me, I'm the planning board
Yeah,
attorney.
sorry.
I've
Sorry.
met some of you, but not all of
She's
you.
good.
So I recant my motion and my yes vote.
okay. So we are not elevating any alternates at this
At
point.
this time.
Next is approval of the October 1st regular meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
A motion been made and seconded to approve these minutes. All those in favor?
Agenda,
Aye. Aye.
the agenda that you just did.
Oh, did I skip the agenda? Okay, we'll finish the meeting minutes. And of the October 1st, 2025 non-public minutes made public.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
A motion been made and seconded to approve the October 1st non-public minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And what about our site plan minutes? Our
Just a little paragraph.
site visit, should we just do those?
Yep, I'd like you to, because I did do something.
And we had a site visit at the Pike plant. So I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes as well.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second?
Motion is made and seconded to approve the October 16th, 2025 planning board site visit minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Number 3 on the agenda, going backwards, approval of the agenda as presented.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman, we approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
A motion been made and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Number 5 is public comment. Do I hear any public comment?
I'm here tonight to ask for a contingency on approving a building permit for the cell phone tower. And I don't know whether I should do that now or once this starts.
We will open case 2507 and you can do it then.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Hearing no other public comment, I will close the public comment period. Number 6 is new business, case number 2507, site plan review request from Francis D. Parisi, Esquire, authorized agent for Vertex Towers LLC, 0 Tasker Hill Road off Oak Ridge Road, tax map 206, lot 71. The project proposed project is construction of a wireless communication facility consisting of a 100-foot monopole tower on top of a 1-foot foundation, 105 feet to the top of the lightning rod, inside a 70 by 40-foot fenced-in compound. And the chair, being the owner of the property, has a conflict of interest. And will exit, I will exit the, step down from this, no.
Okay.
Get out of here, Paul.
Coming.
Well, that being the case, then we need to elevate at least one alternate.
Hold on. I'm
Right.
not there with Paul. Hold on. We'll talk about this, switching gears. Here to help. Okay. Great.
With Mark stepping aside, I will step in as the chairman for this case, 2507.
Postings have all been done for tonight's meeting and everything on the 15th on the website, so everything's good there. Okay.
Very good, very good.
Do we need to
Yeah.
elevate an alternate at this
Yes.
time?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to elevate one of our alternates.
I think
Which
you-
one?
I think you need to pick one.
Okay.
You got to pick somebody.
You gotta pick one.
Tia?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Tia. And Joe should sit in the audience, right?
I think he's good as long as he doesn't vote.
As long as he doesn't
Yeah, so,
vote.
yeah,
Good.
Joe can participate up until you make a vote.
Okay. Okay. Attorney Parisi, you prepared to?
Yes, sir. Again, my name is Francis Parisi, representing the applicant Vertex Towers. As this board is aware, we were in front of the planning board about a month ago with a joint public hearing in front of the zoning board to get the requisite permits to build a telecommunications facility at what's legally known as 0 Tasker Hill Road, but because the site is really just off of Oak Ridge Road, we've advertised it both ways. The zoning board continued their public hearing to November 19th, I believe, and the planning board meeting was continued to tonight. The only thing that has changed since the last meeting, I think someone on the board, perhaps the chair, asked for more detail. I have to actually apologize because those are details that we usually put in the site plans. It just fell out of the plan set when we filed them back in September with the planning board, and we put those in now. It's just an abutters plan with more detail with respect to the lot and all the abutters around it. And again, I apologize, that was actually supposed to be in the plan. And then also we added a survey plan with existing conditions and contours as required by the site plan review regulations. Other than that, nothing has changed. I don't really have anything more to say. I believe that the board accepted the application as complete with the addition of these two things. So-
If I knew, excuse me a minute, but I'm the one that asked for these drawings, and I think these drawings were an important part of the submission that was made, and they were omitted from that submission. So I think it's unfair for the board to receive these plans tonight and expect to look at them, where normally you get this a week to 10 days in advance and have a chance to look at it, go out to the site and have a look at this. And that is just my personal feeling. I don't know what other members of the board here feel, but to look at this and digest it, I don't think it's fair to ask us to do that all in one night. But I'm sorry, go ahead, proceed.
Mr. Chair, I gave 7 sets of plans with respect to the cell tower, the location of the cell tower, the survey, the elevations, the depiction of the driveway, the detail of the compound, the elevation of the tower, the fence detail, and all the other details. I gave these to the board back in
I'm just seeing
September.
that, yeah.
The only thing that they asked for, which I think was a legitimate request, was an abutters plan. So I don't think the board was prejudice in this review. The lot was substantially, it's a large lot, we talked about it in great detail at the last planning board meeting. I'm not giving anything to the board tonight or yesterday that really wasn't part of the original application package. It's just a little bit more detail for the plan, for the planning board to approve the site plans as presented. I believe the board has a complete application and should be ready to approve the site plans. I'd be happy to talk about it in more detail, but we'd be repeating everything that we said at the previous planning board meeting last month.
Okay, are you presenting more information on your presentation tonight?
No, I gave a pretty thorough presentation at the last planning board meeting. We went through the application in great detail for both the zoning board benefit and the planning board benefit. I gave photos and simulations. We walked through the application last month with respect to all of the different components of the application, the radio frequency analysis, the need for the site, the lack of alternatives. I gave a very thorough presentation with respect to the zoning bylaw. I can go back through that in more detail, but it would all be regurgitation of the board's already read.
Okay. Questions from the board? On any of the materials that have been submitted?
Paul, I thought you had some concerns regarding the photos that were taken and the accuracy of the photos. Was that not what I understood last time? In
No.
regards to the view that, okay,
Not this, there's another case.
okay, okay.
Any questions from the board? I have a few. When you made the presentation, you talked about wireless companies who will be on the tower. How many are gonna be on the tower when you first build it?
We have a commitment from T-Mobile, and we build it with the height and the structural integrity for multiple. We don't have commitments from anyone else, but we anticipate that others will join on as we get farther along in the process.
So there's only one right now,
That's correct.
okay? One of the questions that came up at that meeting was, how high would the tower be above the treetops?
It's kind of hard to say because we're on the side of a hill. So which tree are you talking about? The tree 5 feet away, the tree 15 feet away, or the tree 45 feet away? Because that's an arbitrary number. The problem with, and we've asked for a variance from that, but the problem is when you're on the side of a hill where 40 and 50 feet above the trees to the east, and we're below the trees to the west. So in all the zoning bylaws that have a tree height canopy measurement, we ask and routinely receive variances from it because it's just it's a silly measurement because we don't build sites in a flat world. So we've asked for the variance from the zoning board from that height restriction. And that's why we do the visibility demonstration to let the town and the abutters know what the height would be.
Will there be, depending on how you're viewing it, will there be anything that'll be above the trees?
As we saw in the pictures, there was some visibility from down by the town beach, not the Edelweiss Beach down there. But you were, I don't have the pictures to display, they're in the package, but they're about, you're seeing about 15 or 20 feet above the trees from that direction. We didn't see any visibility from Oak Ridge Road or Presidential Ridge Road or any of the Presidential View Road or any of those views up there because of the way the tower is situated based on the tree canopy. And so I can't say it's invisible, but
what are they gonna do to stabilize the ground around the site?
So we haven't actually done a foundation design yet. After we get approval by the planning board and the zoning board, we go out and do a geotechnical analysis to figure out really what's underneath there. We might hit some ledge, we might not, and then we design this foundation very specific to location. So, and that'll be all part of the foundation design that we submit to the building inspector.
Will we see that at a later point?
I can
We
certainly.
won't. Bob will see it.
Yeah, I don't know that it's relevant to the planning board, but it would be to the building inspector, and we provide, the problem is that we can't design it till we know what's underground. And so, I can't do any digging until I get the right to build the road. And so, a lot of that gets done sequentially after the planning board approves the project.
Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. Regardless of Mr. Grafton's ask for a continuance, are we within our bounds to approve a site plan without the variance from the ZBA ahead of time, if they've already continued their case?
You can, it would be, you'd have to do a condition of approval that they receive the requested variances. Whether the applicant wants to go forward with that risk is up to them, but we would do a condition of approval.
Okay.
Yeah, we spoke about that at the last meeting because of the timing of the relative meetings, and I believe the zoning board said, and the planning board also.
I know,
concurred.
apologize, wasn't at the last meeting, and it's not, I guess, not necessarily relevant to the legality of the site plan and all that, but what is the coverage area, because I don't know that area is negatively affected by cell phone coverage as opposed to a place like this or the other proposed tower.
I have to apologize, because I had that all up on the screen at the larger meeting, I just didn't bring my screen in, because it was a smaller place, but generally, it's, T-Mobile has a gap in coverage along the 113 corridor, but also to the west going towards Edelweiss and deeper into Madison. And the problem is, the hill that Edelweiss is an impediment to the topographical impediment to the signal. So it's really looking southwest here. This is what we showed previously, but it's there's pretty good T-Mobile coverage here, but it's this way here because of the hill there, and then along the Route 113 corridor going and 16 over that direction as well. So that's really what the coverage objective is for
T-Mobile, right? And I guess my only problem with it being is that T-Mobile is the only customer, and how popular is T-Mobile in this area? Really, what good are we getting out of a cell tower? I mean, as opposed to Verizon or US Cellular, where we don't have commitments from those two. Those are the two popular ones in this area. Are we really gaining anything from a T-Mobile tower?
Yeah, that's a long answer. The answer is one, yes. T-Mobile is the third largest carrier in the United States. Two, the whole point of the Telecommunications Infrastructure and Telecommunications Act of 1996 is to foster competition. So, and it clearly says you can't say, well, my USL or my AT&T phone works, therefore we don't need T-Mobile. You can't discriminate amongst carriers, and it's to provide more competition. T-Mobile has been very aggressive in the New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont market because they just acquired frequencies within the last 3 years. So they've built sites all along the 16 corridor. They've made several sites in Conway, and we've been working with them up along the 153 corridor as well. So they are very aggressively building out their network here, and quite frankly, it's a much less expensive alternative to some of the other carriers. So it's something you guys want now.
Thank you.
Another question I had on this, is there plans for this site? Will other towers be located on this site?
Other towers?
Yes.
No, we build it with both room inside the compound for multiple carriers and also space on the tower for multiple carriers.
But no other tower in the area?
No. And it's designed so that it minimizes the need for other towers in the area.
So if I'm reading this correctly, you have room for 3 other carriers.
Exactly.
So it'll be a total of 4 carriers on the tower?
Yeah, it's tough to say until they come, but, because we're trying to anticipate the future and structural integrity, but we're pretty confident that we have the height and the structural integrity for 4 carriers, yes.
What do you do if you get a 5th carrier that wants to go on there?
It's.
Too little, too late?
Yeah, no, not really. It's kind of like a question in the future. Right now, with US Cellular getting absorbed by AT&T, there's only 3 active carriers in the market right now, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. There's always talk about others going on the, getting into the network, into the sphere, like Apple or Amazon or Google. So, you know, the standard design is for 4 carriers. When I first started doing this a long time ago, when I had Air, there were 7 carriers in the market. So it's a very fluid market. So it's hard to say, but you know, we don't want to be short-sighted, and I use the pun all the time, by designing something that's too short or doesn't have the structural integrity. But you know, it's not foreseeable right now, as we stand here, that there'd be 5 people in town.
One of my other questions was, and you had touched on it, there's a driveway permit from a private road, which is Idlewise
Yes.
property up there. And where do you stand on that?
So, well, the way their driveway permit works, we can't apply for the permit until we're 90 days prior to the commencement of construction. So they did reach out to me through council, and we're communicating with them. They're aware of our project. They were noticed as an abutter to the property. We anticipate getting a driveway permit and complying with all their driveway rules, but it's premature. We don't need to get that yet because it's something that their rules say that you can't start the driveway. You can't, once you get the driveway permit, you have to start construction within 90 days, and we're not starting construction within the next 90 days.
Okay.
But we've routinely worked with municipalities and other Class 6 roads and private communities. We, you know, the construction is de minimis. It's actually a lot less impactful than building residential foundation and residential construction. It's once the facility is built, it's unmanned, so there's no traffic going up, there's no use of the roads, so we're quite confident that Edelweiss will be satisfied with our driveway application permit when we file it.
Okay. I have another question, but I think it's gonna come up from one of the members of the audience on this. Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? We'll start with the young lady back there.
Sir, did you look at
Who is that?
the
She needs to
tower
Okay,
from?
excuse me, can you identify yourself
Oh,
and
sorry, I
address?
apologize. My name's Carrie McNiven,
Thank you.
And where do you live?
104 Idlewise Drive.
Okay, thank you.
Did you look at your balloon test from anywhere on Big P?
I quite frankly don't know what Big P is, so.
Big P Barge Pond.
Big P Porch Pond?
Oh, the ponds at the bottom?
No, that's, okay, there's 3 ponds. You come around the first one, that's Little P.
Yes,
Edelweiss Beach is on Middle P.
yes,
And then there's a 3rd pond, which is called Big P.
yes, and we took some pictures from that, there's like a basketball court down there.
No,
and,
that's
That's
Middle
on
P.
Middle P.
Okay, we didn't go out much farther than that, we generally go out about a mile in every direction, because after that,
Because the tower's very visible from Big P. The when you did the balloon test, the balloon was very visible.
I don't have pictures there, so I can't say. So.
There is one picture from Big P. Photo
Is it
number
really? I'm sorry, we took it from,
So you've got Little P, Middle P, and Big P.
Okay, I didn't realize. Okay, yeah,
Photo
so-
number 7.
so, there was a public, like access way that you can drive down to the beach from there, and the photographers went down there to take pictures.
Boat ramp?
No, Deuces Beach probably.
Was that, yeah, is that what it was called? I'm sorry, what was it called?
Thusis?
Yeah, there's like a public driveway, we can't go on private property, so we looked for the public beaches, and there was the public beach by the Edelweiss Beach, the main beach area. There was one by the basketball court, and then there was one, like a little access driveway down in the village pond. And so I just didn't know the name of the pond, so yes,
Okay.
we drove all down there.
Those photos will be labeled as to of which number they are?
Yeah,
Oh, 4. We're looking for 7.
so the tower's gonna be back there, so you can't see it.
I don't know how much you can see it from back there, but that is a photo from Big P.
Let me see, let me see.
Okay,
See, where you stand under the tower, like way back here, so you don't get the perspective. because of-
Yes, that's from Thusis Beach.
Exactly.
But Carrie and I live, we're a little bit further up Ida West Drive. I can show you a picture I've got, you can easily see it from my waterfront property.
Okay, anybody else? Sir, right here.
My name is Walter McNiven, 104 Ida West Drive. Not being an electronics engineer, I just have a question regarding the two other towers that are in very close proximity to the proposed tower. One of them is for Carroll County Sheriff, 911 signals, dispatch, and then the other one is operated by K2 Towers, which has on it the broadcast signal from Mount Washington Valley radio station, and I believe it also has some mobile carriers on it as well. So is the new tower with T-Mobile and perhaps others, is that gonna create any interference with the other two towers and their signals going out?
No, definitely not. Radio frequency usage is very heavily regulated by the Federal Communications Commission, and everyone gets certain bandwidth. The public safety, for example, probably operates in the 600, 700 megahertz range. The radio station is probably down in the 500 to 400 megahertz range. T-Mobile has frequency in the 800 and 1900 megahertz range. So it's all designed to not create interference. And if it is, it would be a violation of all FCC rules and we'd be required to take it down. So, and interference tends to go both ways as well. So, if we were interfering with them, they'd be interfering with us, which wouldn't, from T-Mobile, and that wouldn't be tolerable as well. So, the whole, frequency spectrum is designed to avoid interference now.
Okay, so that was looked at.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's very much designed to prevent that.
that's the picture blown up from our property. So taken with an iPhone, it is visible above every tree, the balloon test.
I mean, that's why we do the visibility analysis, to show
Do you
where it
guys
is.
wanna see it? I don't.
I do. So there it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you tell me where around Big P your house is?
104,
Wow.
Ida Weiss.
Any idea on this drawing where it might be, or this picture rather? Somewhere in this area?
We are probably, we're before Toosa's Beach.
Past Big Loop. toward
Okay,
Deuces.
in that area,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Mark?
My name is Mark Rapp. I'm one of the three commissioners in Arwise, and my questions are about the roads leading to the site. We have a weight limit of 13 tons, and I'd like to know what the weight of the tower is as it's transported to the site, and the weight of the crane. Is it, if there's gonna be a crane used to lift it? Is it a one-piece tower or two pieces? How's it come?
It tends to come on the back of flatbed trucks in at least 3 pieces, so like 30-foot increments, like a back of a flatbed truck. Our engineers have looked at it. We've built on many Class 6 and other non-paved roads, and what we intend to do with Edelweiss is walk the roads, identify any damage, and then correct any damage that we would create as a result of those roads. As a result of construction, we work with many municipalities on class 6 and other less than perfect roads. And,
So we would like the planning board to put a condition on the building permit that the Edelweiss gets a bond to cover the damage that could happen on the roads. And at the top of the hill, there's lots of ledge, and we have a public water system. The first house that's closest to the tower that's on our property, that is called the Sheriff's Tower, that house has a berm that you might have noticed that starts at the edge of the road, and the property owner wrapped it around, and it parallels where the paper road is that you are gonna develop to get to your site. I don't know if your plans show any pins, locations of that property. I doubt there's any pins for the other side of the paper road. What I'm getting at is, I think you need to require a survey of the paper road that he wants to develop to get to the site, so it doesn't infringe, and you have to be careful that you don't damage the water system. To get to where the homeowner put the berm in to bring the water from our curb stop to his house was because he couldn't dig down to get it down 6 feet to protect it from the cold. So he burned it. It's not bermed under the paved road from the tank system that is next to the second cell phone tower that's there. The Summit Tank Station. So the water line is gonna be shallow, and I think you're gonna be driving your equipment over that, so that should be part of the bond if anything happens to that part of the water system.
I agree with all that. The road was surveyed, but we can certainly walk with Edelweiss. We're gonna have to go to Edelweiss at some point to get the driveway permit, we understand that?
You should probably have a drawing that shows where the berm is and where the road is that you're going to develop. That's on private, that should be on private property. I don't
Yeah,
know if it is.
we're only, our engineers were very careful to design the road on the paper road, and so we're not encroaching on any private property.
Mr. Vice Chairman, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Does Edelweiss have their own building inspector? No, okay.
No, we're a zone within the town. We're the Edelweiss residential zone, so the zoning and the building inspection is all done by Madison.
Okay.
But we own the road. We purchased all the roads from the developer in
Okay.
1980.
So would you need an easement?
No?
Do they need an easement from Edelweiss saying that, because it's not exactly a driveway, it's a road? Do they need an
They're
easement
gonna get an
to-
easement to cross over.
I spoke with council about this. There's a undeveloped paper road. Oak Ridge kind of comes here, and there's an undeveloped paper road to the frontage of our property. And we would get a driveway permit to basically develop that paper road, and and I don't wanna call it developed paper road. We would bring our driveway from the private property to the finished part of Oak Ridge Road, but we would do that via a building permit with Edelweiss.
Driveway permit.
A driveway permit, yes, I'm sorry.
What
To
about
road-
from
Sorry.
DOE? They require anything from them?
DOE, I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, if it's VDOE, that's Village District of Edelweiss, that's them.
Yeah, it's called Village
Sorry,
District.
it's a V
Village District
there.
of Edelweiss,
Sorry, my writing.
VDOE, yes, okay.
If I did it in shorthand, you wouldn't be able to read it all.
And I would assume, Mark, in talking with you people with that and your berms and crossing over a water line and stuff, that would be something you'd make them aware of when they came to you.
Sure.
Right.
For an easement through that.
To be honest, I think the bond request is reasonable. I think it would come up in the context of the driveway permit application as opposed to the planning board application, but I don't care if you, but we know we have to come to you. We just thought it was premature because.
I don't think we can deny you a driveway permit if you didn't give us the bond for the other roads.
Yeah, so that was one of my two questions. One, I don't think they can impose a bond on a driveway
Yeah.
permit, it has to come from
Yeah.
us.
We do, we do impose a bond on every driveway permit, but only for the driveway,
Yeah.
and how the
Right.
driveway could damage our roads,
Right,
but not for accessing it to build
Right.
the class 5 roads from 113 all the way to his site.
and I think we went down this already once with, and it may not have been this board, I apologize, but the Class 6 town roads. Regardless of the bond, they're responsible for any damage that they put on the roads, and maybe you can answer that question. You don't need a bond to make them fix the roads, you just have to have visual proof that they're the ones that damaged it.
That's correct.
Our advice from our attorney was to ask for a bond.
I'm not saying a bond's a horrible idea, I want you to know that you don't necessarily need it to make them pay for what they damaged, as long as you take pictures before they start.
We have to listen to our attorney.
Yep.
No, quite frankly, I think a bond is a reasonable, request. But like I said, I think it's through them and not the planning board. You can impose it, but if they don't impose it, then it doesn't matter, because it's their roads, they're the ones that the bond would be in favor of. So, I personally think that, like I said, it's a reasonable request, but I think it's gotta come from them, not from the planning board, because
So-
it's private roads.
We could do it that we could make it a condition of approval if the village district wants it.
Right, that's what I was thinking of.
Yep,
There we go.
yep,
And if
so
we're
it
advised to
still
ask
has to
for it.
start
Right.
here.
Our legal counsel said we should have one.
Right,
Yep.
And it's assurance for our property owners.
Like I said, technically you're right, but I don't think it's an unreasonable request,
Yep.
given, although, let me tell you, it's, our foundations are smaller than a residential foundation. So anyone that's built residential foundations on any of the village roads have brought concrete in and done stuff like that, so it's not much different than what we would do, so.
But you're
we-
bringing in something along and you're gonna go through the S-turns, you're doing something that no house has done.
Uh,
They didn't bring in.
They didn't bring in a 30
or-
foot, yeah,
or tractor trailers.
I agree, and, our engineers have looked at it, our construction, folks have looked at it, I agree with you, those are some very
I
steep
think
roads.
we're in violent agreement here.
What's that? Yeah.
We're in violent agreement.
No, well, we certainly intend to work with you, there's no question.
One more question,
Yes,
it's not that important to me, but, frontage. It's kind of unusual to use the road width. The road is coming into this property at a 90-degree angle. That's the boundary of Idleways. The frontage is actually the width of the road, not frontage on the road,
mhm,
if you understand what I'm saying without.
yes, I think it shows on
Yeah,
one of the drawings.
he's absolutely correct. We have asked for a variance from the zoning board because we don't have sufficient frontage for this. And the only frontage on this road is a little bit here and a little bit down at the other end of the property. So the lot is unusable without a frontage variance. And so we requested, the only frontage on this is a little bit down here and then up here. And it was designed, when they subdivided the road with Edelweiss and all that in the area, there was no frontage at all. So we've asked for a frontage variance from the zoning board.
So, Mr. Chairman, this is the paper road you're talking about?
Exactly right here. In reality, the Oak Ridge
Oak Ridge
goes.
stops here.
Exactly.
Okay. And my other question, if you don't, Mr. Chairman,
Mhm.
Mark, you originally in public comment were asking us to continue. Can you give me a reason as to why you would want to continue? I've heard everything else you've said, but you asked for a continuance on this case in the beginning at public comment.
No,
Okay,
contingency.
okay.
The
I thought
bond
you
is a
said continuance. I
contingency.
just want, okay, I just wanted clarification.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I am Rich Boyden, 14 Claus, over the backside of Oak Hill. And it'll be interesting, I know you mentioned that you didn't have a butters plan yet, and just curious how close it's gonna be to the closest house.
To which homes?
The tower, how close it's gonna be to the closest house.
I would assume this is a developed lot, I would imagine.
Actually, I'm not sure that that's developed right there, but the closest property line is 144 feet, and the tower is 100 feet tall, or 105 with the lightning rod. So the house would be, and I think that's an undeveloped lot, I think that's the lot that's developed right there. So it would be several hundred feet away.
Okay.
The lot that abuts the paper road isn't developed. That's
Is that-
where,
is that
that's
what
where the
the house
water
is?
line is that I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's right on that.
So it's a minimum of I would would say about 200 feet. 100 feet to the property, 150 feet to the property.
All right, thank you. And I was just reading the zoning ordinance. A lot of bullet points in here, very interesting. And by the way, I have a T-Mobile phone. It's a company phone from down south. And it works awesome on the hill and all around it, just not over by King Pine, but I don't use it when I'm skiing anyway. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I have a comment. Can I make a comment or is it just questions?
Just state your name and,
Paul Calvo, 100 Oak Ridge Road. I'm actually in a butter. I'm probably 200 feet from this. I oppose this project. I don't want another cell phone tower in my backyard, and for similar reasons. I have fantastic cell phone coverage, clearly because there's 2 antennas behind my house. Ultimately, I don't see a benefit to this community of having this tower. There's better locations. In fact, similar, I go skiing at King Pine. I have 0 service. It goes to SOS mode. But I live in this community, Idlewice. I have coverage where my house is, along the roads, at the beaches. I've had people reach out to me telling me they have Verizon and T-Mobile and they have coverage. So again, I'm not hearing a benefit to us to put in another tower. And something that I'd like this board to consider is the aesthetics, the impact to our property values, and if they even have the access to this land. This is a piece of property that's abutting properties that are in Idlewice. And we're using the term driveway, but they're building a road off of a private road and then access. Do they have the legal right to make a paper road into a term driveway? And access that through private roads, use Idlewice utilities. I pay an absolute premium in taxes to live there, so do my Idlewice residents, and no offense to the Olsons, but they don't pay the same taxes that we do. So this land is not associated with Idlewice. That being said, the summit of Idlewice, for the community to look and feel the aesthetics that this tower is going to bring to the area, the summit is used as a meeting ground for us. We have ice cream social there, socials there. The community meets up there. It's a scenic overlook. I'm sure many of you have been there. It's a tourist destination for this town. I think it brings the same value that the lakes do and the Madison Boulder does. In fact, that scenic overlook, I moved the Google Map pin for it because I lived there and it was in the wrong spot. I moved it 2 years ago, and in the past 2 years I've had 72,000 views of that location. There's people there all day, every day. And so now when you go there, not only is there already a tower, but you're gonna look to your left and see another tower. And in fact, no offense to the developer, but they actually went out of their way to, last public hearing, to almost mock the tower that's there, saying I've never seen anything like it. It's a simple wooden cell phone pole, and it doesn't have any structural integrity. We couldn't build more. Yeah, but it actually blends in better with the neighborhood than a concrete, gravel, metal structure. So I think from an aesthetics perspective, people around the pond, they're actually sending me pictures. There's a lot of opposition. They're just not here. A lot of second homeowners abutting this land. I'm one of them. I had to leave my family to come up here tonight. But that doesn't mean I don't care about this project and that I'm not getting communication from them that they oppose it as well, asking the same questions. Why do we need another cell phone tower? I don't want to look out my window and see one. There's better locations. The only other thing I'd like to add is, I'm not an expert on this, but cell phone towers are the least costly way to bring service to an area. And towns like Madison that oppose cell phone towers and have ordinance intentionally to prevent them from being developed, there's other ways to bring telecommunications to the area. It's just more expensive. I'm actually proud that this town's been opposing these types of developments. I'd like to see it continued. If we didn't have cell phone coverage, I would say we need the necessary evil, but because there's coverage there, and because this property doesn't actually have frontage within Idlewice, is there nothing that, with this site plan review, to deem inappropriate for this piece of land? And again, I don't know if there's any legal ground to them being able to develop a road, a driveway off of another road, but that's all. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Parisi, I have another question. They talked about a little bit here, the tower and everything. Is it gonna be painted a certain color? The tower?
Towers come out of the factory as a galvanized steel. It's kind of like the same color as a guardrail you see along the highway.
Mhm.
And so it's non-reflective and it kind of dulls over time. So it's designed to be as unreflective as possible.
Would you object to it being a color?
The only reason why I would say no is because I'd love to hear the color that you're proposing. And I say that facetiously because we've been asked to paint them brown. And then it stands out more because it's darker. I've been asked in some instances to paint them blue. I was told one time to say, paint it brown below the tree line and green above, and blue above the tree line. And that based on perspective. So if you're not in the right spot where the line deviates, then it's just, so all of our attempts to change the color just draws more attention to it. So it doesn't matter to us, but quite frankly, I'm telling you, it's going to look worse. And then the other thing too is paint peels. So it's something that it's exposed to the weather. They're easy to paint at the factory, and it's really hard to paint when they're up in the air. So it's I won't fight you if you say paint it pink or paint it yellow, but my suspicion is that whatever color you pick would be more noxious than the natural color.
Mhm. Okay. Reason I'm bringing it up, you mentioned about it being galvanized steel. That's a separate process the steel has to go through. They have processes now where you can get a color galvanized. So any color that you want, you can put it on when you do the galvanizing, and it basically is a permanent type color that would be on anything you want to galvanize. And I just bring that up because I've had experience with that in Boston on doing projects. And I bring it up because I don't know if anybody here in the audience, if they, residents out there would like to see a color, and I just bring it up. Now is the time to say something about it, if there is.
The one thing I'll tell you, we showed some photos at the last, even the photo that we saw tonight, you're not seeing 100 feet of tower, you're seeing 20, 30 feet of tower above the trees at best. So coloring it doesn't really change things. We did the photos right as the leaves were off the trees, so that the foliage wasn't an issue there. So there was no place that you saw 100 feet of tower. So coloring it any color would really create no value. And like I said, it tends to call more attention to it, no matter what color you chose.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Tia.
So I'm understanding that Idlewise, it's not looking to expand past where it currently is. Would this road open that up to like further development or like subdivision or anything like that?
I highly doubt it, because that road's gonna end right here at the cell tower, and you've got no way to go any other direction, not to mention Wilson's own the rest of that property.
What we're doing is, bringing in the driveway from Oak Ridge and then continue the property where, maybe 200 feet off the property at most. This property is huge, and as you can imagine, it slopes pretty good. So one of the reasons why we put it up there is because the rest of the land is so sloped, it's be difficult, if not impossible, to utilize. So I don't know what the landowner's plans are. We have the right to use, generally it's 50 by 50 or 75 by 75, bring an access driveway in. We don't have any say or control of what the landowner does, but having been there a couple times, my suspicion is he doesn't do a whole lot there, just because of the steepness of the slope.
Thank you.
But we're not building a road off of Oak Ridge to facilitate traffic. I keep calling it a driveway. It's really there to facilitate construction. Once these facilities are built, it's unmanned, we don't plow, we don't need any kind of snow access. If someone needed to get there in the winter, which would be unusual, they bring snow equipment in. We don't really care what Edelweiss does, if they plow, don't plow. My suspicion is that they do, but we're not asking them to do that as part of the process, because you know, we don't generally require access other than during the construction process.
And you would maintain this portion of the road and driveway?
Yes, it was
Fully.
designed, the engineers took great effort to design it, put in some drainage elements to make sure there's no stormwater runoff or any impact. And it's just, you know, they'll throw some gravel down, and, but it's, like I said, it doesn't get asphalted or anything like that, it doesn't get plowed, so that, you know, there's maintenance issues.
So that's gonna be a gravel road
Yeah,
going
exactly.
down?
Yeah.
Yes, Mark?
So, once this road is constructed, as he's saying, it's not gonna be a road that's maintained by Idlewise, therefore it's a class 6 road. And I would think that you need to have the typical waiver signed saying that emergency services aren't gonna respond on a class 6 road. You know what I'm talking about, this has to be recorded in Cal County Registry of Deeds.
We'd have to look at it and see if
Yeah.
this is considered a road.
We,
Well,
It's,
let me- I-
we would add that anyway.
Can I
I
just
don't
ask a
think
That's
question
for
in that regard?
residents.
We would add that.
We routinely use class 6 roads, and I know what, we have a standard form agreement that we use that says we don't expect the town to maintain it, we don't expect the town to provide service. The issue is, I don't think I need permission from the town, I think I need permission
Yes.
from Edelweiss, because it's a
To
private.
his point, that class 6 road belongs to you guys, it doesn't belong to the town of Madison, it belongs to
Exactly.
Idlewise, so you would have to sign that waiver with him, not us. Because we wouldn't maintain it even if he wasn't building a tower.
So, at the border of Idlewise then, it's just a driveway outside of Idlewise, but Idlewise has given them the driveway permit, so we would require the waiver.
Right.
Yeah, and I agree with that, and like I said, we have a standard form agreement, we've done it in many towns that we utilize class 6 roads. I just assume we take that and make it pertain to the village district of Edelweiss, as opposed to the town of Madison.
And as far as Tia's question was, and your answer was, you think the terrain is too steep or unfriendly to build? I'll show you Idlewise. People will wanna build. What they'll wanna build are not typical houses. And, that's not your problem, because the property owner can do whatever they want, but they have to get it approved by this planning board.
Right.
With all the restrictions that if they wanted to develop in there, they're limited to 1,000 feet before they have to connect to another road to come out. So all your rules are gonna apply, and it will be when the property owner decides what he wants to do. But it's not like there's no market for that to be developed, because that's what Idlewise is.
With any luck, he'll do nothing.
It's the same
with it.
hill. The whole other side is worse than that, and it's all developed.
I agree with you, it's some of the steepest roads I've ever driven on in my life, but we have no, like I said, we have the right to use probably 75 by 75 or some odd number like that, and then access, we
Yeah,
don't.
development's not your issue,
No.
it's gonna be the property owners in the future.
Right, and, but I'll also tell you, the way we're designing it, it's not like he could build a road, we're kind of putting it right, impeding access to everything else. So,
I don't know about that.
it's,
Directly over the border into his property, he could put a branch off that road and go in another direction.
yeah, like, he'd have to come to the town.
That's right.
We're not proposing, when we talk to you, we're simply building a driveway, not a, you know, a 30-foot wide road, or things like that, it's just a driveway.
See, I just wanted to make it clear that her question and the answer, I didn't exactly agree with. I think it can be developed, it will be developed, but that's not what you're here for.
We're not here to ask.
Yes, sir.
William Burnell, Windburn Drive, Edelweiss. I have two questions related to each other. The first one is more to the board. Mr. Chairman, the cell tower before was shut down. What was the official reason for that not being approved?
King Pine?
That was a
Yeah,
ZBA
that's a
issue.
ZBA issue.
ZBA.
That's not here.
It wasn't, okay. Okay. Then my second question is to you. If some of the people here have T-Mobile and they don't have issues with T-Mobile currently, what study have you guys done to say that the tower is needed?
We submitted a very extensive report as part of the application package. I agree, there's probably gonna be coverage at the top of Edelweiss because you're above all the topography and terrain. It's around Edelweiss, most of the signal, from that portion of Madison actually comes out of Conway. And the hill that Edelweiss is on is a topographical impediment. So as you go farther down Route 16, farther down into Madison and going towards Tamworth, that's where the signal drops off. And also, on the other side of Edelweiss, going towards the ponds that this woman mentioned. So, and the other thing too that's going on is, when I first started doing this, we first all started building cell phone networks. We thought it was a mobile technology, and people were gonna use it in their cars as they drove up 16 and Route 93. And over the last several years, it's evolved into a residential technology. And now T-Mobile, for example, offers an alternative to streaming video at home, but it requires a better quality signal. So, and then the other thing too is that, like I said, it was originally designed as a mobile technology. A car is not a significant structural impediment to a telecommunications signal, like a house or a building like this, or like your basement. And what T-Mobile, and quite frankly, all the other telecommunications companies are trying to do is improve coverage residentially, and ubiquitously throughout, in everywhere that you use it, and not just in a car or walking outside. So, even though someone might say, I get coverage here, or I'm not fine, we submitted extensive maps and affidavits to show that there is a gap in coverage.
So this tower will improve King Pine, Tamworth, that kind of gap there?
Definitely not. This is not a replacement to the King Pine Tower. As you can imagine, King Pine itself is a structural impediment to like Route 153. I'll tell you, we've gotten towers approved in Freedom and in Effingham that cover the 153 corridor and have some benefit to Madison as well. And then someone else, a competitor, is proposing something at King Pine to provide coverage to King Pine. Those are all different projects. Madison is very geographically large and incredibly topographically challenged because you see all the hills there and all the roads go up through the valleys. So we're trying to provide coverage to a different area of Madison than the King Pine Tower.
Yes, sir?
Yeah, so during the previous public hearing, you told us that because it's a 5G antenna and not a 3G antenna, it actually travels at a shorter distance than 3G, and that really the only benefit was to the Edelweiss community and the little corridor around 113. But now I'm hearing you say that it's actually for the rest of Madison and more towards Tamworth, so.
No, 113 as you go south and Route 16 as you go south, going towards Tamworth. I don't think there's any benefit to Tamworth, certainly not to the benefit.
No, not to Tamworth, but you said it was because it's a shorter distance antenna, that it's actually not going to improve coverage beyond what those 3G antennas are doing already, that you're just bringing a different antenna to the area.
No,
So it's 5G as opposed to 3G, right?
No, what I said is that as we go higher up in the generations of technology, the G stands for generation. As we started with 3G and 4G, we were going from analog technology to digital technology, and now we're going to high-speed digital technology. And as you start deploying the higher bandwidth speeds and the higher bandwidths on the frequency scale, to facilitate those higher bandwidth speeds, the signal travels less. So even places where you had some coverage years ago up along the Route 16 corridor, for example, those spots are diminishing and we're filling in gaps. So this is designed to facilitate what I would call Northwest Madison, 113, Route 16, and the Edelweiss area, and not 153 at all.
So just be clear, this is going to improve coverage, not from a speed perspective, but actual cell phone service and gaps in coverage for standard services around this area, as opposed, because it's a cell phone tower next to another cell phone tower, with an antenna that doesn't travel as far, doesn't have the same coverage as a 3G. And it's not a speed increase, it's an actual coverage gap improvement.
Yes, that's correct. It's both, because you will get better speed as they deploy more antennas. Like, for example, T-Mobile has coverage, there's a tower in Conway, right as you take the sharp turn on Route 16 by Town Hall and the library there, there's a tower just back there. And they've had 3G and 4G antennas on there now, but as they morph to the 5G antennas, that distance travels less. So as you get into the northern Madison and Eaton, that area, down 153 and down 16, those areas are suffering, which is why we're building this tower.
You just said the 5G tower travels less.
Yeah, that's correct, because there's a gap that's expanding as we.
If you remove a 3G antenna.
Yeah, they've already done that.
But if the Verizon tower that's there has 3G antennas and you don't remove it, then there's not gonna be a gap unless we remove those 3G antennas.
The tower that's on the hill now, I believe AT&T is on, and you can see it, there's no space on it, there's no room. It wasn't designed like a traditional telecommunications tower, it's really just a telephone pole. There's no structural integrity, there's no foundation, it's just, and you can see, I just looked at it recently, they've added 3G and 4G antennas. I'm not even sure if they have 5G up there because there's no room for it. So one of the benefits of this tower is that I can't say that AT&T is gonna come, but we're designing it with them in mind so that they can deploy 5G antennas. Same thing with Verizon. They're not here yet, but there's no room on that other tower for Verizon. So we're confident that if we build it with the requisite height and structural integrity, they'll come as well.
Thank you. Okay. Questions from the board? I'd like to close the public part of it, then go to the board with more questions from them. I guess I'd had one more to ask of you, and I don't know if Adam knows anything about this. Are there any fees paid to the town of Madison by the vendors that are on this tower?
We are basically developing real estate. And so, I shouldn't tell you this, but the property will probably improve in value as a result of the building of the tower. And I'll also tell you, for the benefit of the tax assessor, the state of New Hampshire has a formula on how to tax cell towers. So the town will get not fees, but they'll get increased tax revenue. And I'll also tell you, our agreement with the landowner is that he pays the real estate taxes, and if there's any increase in taxes to him as a result of this tower, we pay the increase.
Okay, thank you. Again, any more questions from the board?
Could I ask a question? Sure. I've worked opposite Fran on a lot of cell towers before, so is there any need for or any space for public safety equipment on the tower?
The answer is yes, however, it would be, Kerry knows this, it would be reasonable for the board to impose a condition that we reserve space for public safety free of charge. The reason I'm hesitant is Kerry doesn't know this, there's a public safety tower 100 feet away.
The sheriff's tower?
Yeah, exactly. So my suspicion is that Madison Town doesn't need it, but we'd certainly agree to provide it. And we would just add, if the town's gonna impose a condition, there's two caveats. One, that it's reasonable. So we can't have the town put a Volkswagen up there, but the type of antennas that the town generally uses dovetail with the type of antennas that T-Mobile and other carriers use. And also that, we reserve space at the top of the tower, so for them to attach things to the tower.
Okay. Very good. Carrie, do you see anything else we should cover?
I don't have any other questions. I have conditions for you to consider if you get that far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else has any questions, but my initial reaction is to motion to continue until we hear these conditions from our attorney, and I just assume get the variances from the ZBA before we approve anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be one of the conditions.
I don't even think it should be a condition, I think it should be a continuance until they get it. And we can do it the other way, but that's just my personal opinion.
So legally, we can't continue approval because we're waiting for other approvals.
Okay.
It's risk to them because the variances might get denied and they have to redo their design, but that's their risk. But we can definitely do a condition of approval that our approval is not final until and unless they get the variances.
So that being the case, before we motion to approve this, if our attorney has things she'd like to speak with us about, how do we do that?
I can tell you right now.
Are we doing that in a public session with attorney advice?
We could do that, yes.
Yeah.
We would make a list of conditions.
Right, I'm just curious as to whether or not that should be a public meeting. Or a non-meeting
Generally
with
it-
council.
Generally it is unless there's legal back and forth that you have questions about. So if I say something and the board's like, oh, I don't know about that, I have questions, then we would have a privileged conversation.
Then what we probably should do is to make a list of conditions that we would be looking to.
Well, one, I think we need to require the bond for Idlewise sake, but Idlewise needs to be the beneficiary of that bond.
Yep.
Two, whether we need it or not, I think we need the condition of emergency or 911 service, whatever the verbiage is for that tower.
Public safety.
Public safety,
Public
sorry.
safety.
Whether they need it or not, I think it's a good idea to have it there. And then the 2 variances from the ZBA.
And is the driveway approval from Idlewise a contingency?
I don't know that we need it to be, we can probably certainly make it one, but they're not gonna build without it, regardless of whether it's one of our conditions or not.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get in there anyway, so, okay.
Well, we could put it in there is that they have to get a variance from Idlewise for the driveway permit.
Wouldn't be a variance, it would just be,
We
they
need
have
to get a driveway permit from
Yeah.
Idlewise.
Right.
Do you want me to just, these are my thoughts, things for you to consider. I kind of been listing on that. So, I've got the space on the tower, submission of a removal bond, which he's already submitted, but I have to review. So a removal bond to take down the tower that is acceptable to your attorney. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, your site plan regulations require a site review agreement that is signed. So that would have to be submitted and approved.
Yeah, site plan.
Prior to issuance of a building permit, you also require, unless a waiver is requested, a performance bond to ensure that the site development is completed according to the plans. Any permits that are required for Idlewise.
Yeah.
This is a suggestion, limit hours of construction, given that it's in a neighborhood. There will be no lighting on the tower. There will be submission of a foundation design that is acceptable to the building inspector. Receipt of all necessary variances from the ZBA. The tower owner will maintain the driveway access. And if Idlewise wants it, post a security or bond to cover any damage to Idlewise roads and any damage to the water system of the abutter. If they want it, conduct a survey to identify the bounds of the paper road and location of the water system. And if they want it, submit an RSA 674-41 release and waiver for maintenance and liability to Village District.
Mhm.
Those are the things I had listed for you all to consider.
Okay,
Can I just ask one question, sir?
sure.
I agree with all that, with one exception. One of the requirements of your zoning bylaw is that we post a removal bond. And we provided a form of bond and an estimate from the engineer as what that should be. And we agree with that. There's some talk about Edelweiss requiring a bond, and I agree with that as well. The third thing was a performance bond. And we're not doing anything on public property, we're not anywhere near public property. We can't get performance bonds, and performance bonds are usually required by someone who's doing a subdivision, who's building a public road, and needs a bond to make sure once they start the road, they're gonna finish the road. So it's really not applicable to this type of application. So I don't know why you need a performance bond.
Well, I think maybe Kerry's thought is that once construction starts, they wanna make sure it gets finished, and it gets done, and it's completed, landscaped, whatever it's gonna be. And that's usually what a performance bond is. You do that, you have all that done, and then the bond is released. Am I correct, Kerry?
I mean, it's in their site plan regulations. I didn't pull it from their subdivision, but if you wanna ask for a waiver, they can consider a waiver from that.
I would ask for a waiver. We're on private property. If I take down a tree and then don't finish it, the only one that cares is the private landowner. And I can take down a tree, I can bulldoze stuff, I can do whatever I want, without permission from the town. And so I don't think a performance bond is necessary or applicable here, and I can't get it.
So one of the items.
What about the paper road? If I'm not mistaken, that paper road isn't necessarily passable with construction equipment right now. So I think the performance bond could potentially pertain to that road. So if you start to fix that road so you can get in there and you decide this tower isn't worth it, and you back out, you've left that road half improved and half not.
Again, that would be a Village District of Edelweiss issue, not a Town of Madison issue.
It is, but that request for that bond has to come here with Edelweiss as the beneficiary.
I think it would come from Edelweiss, similar to the bond that they talked about for damage to the road.
Which has to start here.
That's here.
Well, we could add damage to the road or improvements to the road. Damage and completed improvements to the road.
The one thing you could add, you said, damage to the property owner's, private property owner's water system.
Mm-hmm.
You should also have to the Edelweiss water main that goes there, to the public system, not just the private property. And he asked for us to show him where that was, which we could do.
So I still think that we need to do then a waiver, because your site plan regulations do require a performance bond for you. I agree legally that doing it for the road, for their benefit, would cover the concern there. But to do it properly, you should formally request a waiver, and you should vote on a waiver from your site plan regulations for a performance bond.
Okay.
I would like to formally request a waiver.
Anything else, Kerry?
No.
Okay. The board have any questions after hearing the conditions that have been proposed?
I don't have any questions, and I think we could probably vote on the performance waiver tonight, but I'd still am in, I think we need a continuance. With all of these conditions that Carrie Ann has given us tonight, I don't think we have the time frame now to review these conditions, see if we're in line with all of them. I mean, it was 12, 13 conditions, and then make a vote and say that we've done it in good faith.
All right, well, if we voted tonight, it would be a vote based on these conditions that have been proposed went over by Kerry. Some of them, came up by us.
Right, and I'm just saying that I don't know that we have the proper time to sit here and review each one of those conditions individually as to whether or not this board really thinks all of them are necessary, or do we need to change some of them? I think it's too quick.
Did I hear Carrie rightly earlier on that we couldn't continue this again?
You can. I mean, we're not up against the deadline yet.
Okay.
Might I suggest that the board, if it were so inclined, vote to approve the site plan with conditions as discussed to be drafted by Kerry to be presented at the next meeting. So I don't disagree with this gentleman's statement, but I don't wanna continue it more, cause then more things come up. So, and I don't disagree that he hasn't seen the conditions, but I think the board's in a position to approve it with conditions to be reviewed and voted on at the next meeting.
Carrie, your opinion?
Conditions.
That's a bit awkward, but you could do that.
I don't see the harm in continuing it.
So my opinion is, you've closed the public hearing, so unless new information comes up, your continuance is just gonna be for you to hammer out what your vote's gonna be, the conditions of approval if we get there. Also, any waiver request has to be in writing, so technically we would need that in writing. I didn't realize you could write it out now. You do have a photograph that I've just given to Kate from a member of the audience that you should at least look at. So, much to Fran's dismay, my preference for my board would be that you guys continue your deliberation and vote, but not the public part, because you've closed that. So that might alleviate some of his concern, there's not gonna be more public comment, but you
Right.
still have time to digest all this. Think about the conditions, review
And-
the photograph.
I mean, in that, I would like to see Carrie Ann email those conditions that she has written down to Kate so that we can
Look at it.
see exactly.
Could you, because I was trying to,
I have it all
I've got
already.
I'm running out of ink, I'm gonna have to get a new pen. Oh, thank you.
It'll
I
make
was gonna
her
grab
minutes a
his.
lot easier too, cause she doesn't have to go back and watch the video to get everything just said.
Well, I'm gonna run out of ink.
That being said, Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to continue this deliberation and vote portion on this until our next meeting in December.
I'll second that.
We just need the date,
Yeah,
time,
I
and place.
can't
Yep,
see
gotta do
that
the-
far, and I don't have my phone
So a
tonight.
motion and second, any,
December 3rd.
Sorry,
December 3rd.
my motion is to continue the deliberation by the board and the vote on this site plan until December 3rd at 7 p.m.
Here.
here at the town hall. Do I still have your
I
second?
still have my second.
I still have Paul's second.
There you go.
okay,
Yeah.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody? Yes.
Okay. We will do this, we'll pick this up in December, and we will continue this and make a decision at that time, and have a chance to review the, all the conditions that our attorney has recommended. And at that time, I'd like to close the, this portion of the meeting on this case, 2507.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna stay here with the room. Anyway, so I'm gonna grab another pen. I'm
Okay.
ready one page.
Huh?
I ran New York 2 years ago. I ran New York 2 years ago, the New York Marathon.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I ran Tokyo a year ago.
Oh, I wanna run Tokyo.
All over the
Almost
place.
landed in your lap.
I've done them all.
I
Oh my gosh, I couldn't write all that
ran,
down. My hands
I
are
went
killing
from
me.
Paris, I run Boston 3
I
times.
really, I'm like
I
almost
ran
out of
Boston, I
ink.
ran Chicago, I ran New York, I ran Tokyo, I ran Berlin, London. I've been all over the place.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, in my mind,
All right.
they keep.
Do you want the, I'm gonna give these to
That's
you.
the, no more
Oh,
marathons.
you're coming back? Yes.
Can I seal your?
Yeah, you can seal that if you wanna leave it right over there on
I'll go back, okay, but you're gonna leave a little bit anyway.
You didn't give
You
them
gotta
an
leave my
explanation, and then the other,
I didn't
the other
take your
thing
pen.
is that,
Okay, keep it.
These are mine.
No.
I always said.
There you go. All right, I'll come back when you're,
They are
I'm going to the
always
public
trying to
again.
get these out. And
Yeah, I've been watching a couple of
if
times,
people have coverage,
Around Rosie, I feel like.
because they talk about.
I don't know whether it's just, I mean, valid, that's
It's accessible to everybody.
I don't know, I just feel like we didn't,
Accessible to everybody.
if it was me and I came here, and I didn't want that to my backyard.
Okay, let's get going.
Mark, don't go yet, wait, listen.
We have to vote on that.
Yeah.
We haven't voted on the budget, but we need to vote with that new figure because that's what I was given before was the old figure.
Okay.
So I did it the other day.
Okay, kids, it's getting late.
Yeah. Mark, if you give me a second, I'm gonna be an asshole for a minute.
Carrie has a long drive home in the yucky weather. She has to drive a long way.
Accessible to everybody.
Well, I worry.
And you.
Oh, I was gonna do that.
So that
Look at
that
it.
way,
I don't mind yelling at people.
I didn't yell.
Okay, kids, here we go.
Okay. I don't see much.
Number 7 is old business. Master Plan Steering Committee update from Guyon.
Okay. Well, we made some moves. Oh, is everybody still awake? Okay. All right, now I'm gonna ask for money. So this is gonna be fun. But no, we've been working really hard, trying to narrow down our proposal with NCC. And we finally got it to the point where we're comfortable and confident.
everybody, everybody know who NCC is?
Sorry, North Country Council.
Okay.
Michelle and Liz who came to present with us, thanks. And you have a copy of the entire proposal, and we've decided, as a steering committee, to move forward with what they've suggested. And we were kind of tossing back and forth a bigger ticket item. It was $3,600 for basically a visioning session, but we feel like it's a pretty important piece to it, so we decided to include that. And there was a $700 mailing cost, so that we are reaching out to every mailbox in town. And we can include on that the date and time of that meeting and our vision survey. So we thought that was important too. So that was what our indecisiveness last time was, last meeting. We were tossing that back and forth and needed another meeting. So now,
So just on the dollars, talk about it.
yeah,
The town meeting last year authorized $25,000 for the committee. And going through with what Tia is talking about, we're at 19,000
for the first phase.
for the first phase.
Yes, so we could, what I'm understanding is we are allowed to go to the select board and dispatch that if we agree as a planning board to move forward with the proposal. So we could start that, and that would get us through the kickoff meeting, they would help us collect the data, the data points that we want to update. And then they would also put together the visioning session for us, and we would get that going. So we could start that now. And then pending town meeting, we would need to put in another warrant article for the additional $12,265.
I thought it was 10,000.
It's 12,000. It was 11, and plus the mailing.
Yeah, okay, the mailing is on there, okay. You
So-
get us to the
Are we
point.
an NCC member now?
No.
We're not now, but
So where's that fee coming from? Because that's an
It's
extra,
in our budget, Adam.
huh?
They can, what they'll do is, we'll say we'll gladly pay you next year.
Okay, and how much
Yeah.
is that membership?
And that's $4,285. And essentially, you give them the $4,285, and they give you a discount of
$4,285. So what's the point?
So there's Michelle also provided us with, the membership benefits, so that would be an annual charge. So you should have that in your packet too.
And if we decide to continue with them, we can, and if we decide that
We don't want to, we don't have to.
we don't know, and we've done that in the past, so.
Yeah,
But the additional funds we're gonna request is gonna get us to basically finish the work here with the committee to update the master plan.
Well, I wanna be clear on two things. We're asking for an additional $12,000 in a warrant article, but we're asking for an additional $4,500 in our budget.
yes.
So we're asking for an additional almost $17,000 for this. And I've only been here for almost 3 years. We've been a member of NCC before,
Yep,
and why did we drop it?
$4,285.
And we weren't getting enough in return to justify.
Correct, yes.
So-
That's why, when we talked about it, we asked is that, are there any other committees in town that would
Right.
benefit from their services? And if they were, we could sort of split the cost up between the different, you know.
Yeah, we can split it up. BOS is the bottom line.
Right.
I don't care if it comes from the planning board, the ZBA, the rec committee, the DPW, it's the bottom line, it's the bottom line.
Right.
So it doesn't matter where it comes from to me, it's just a matter of, if it hasn't been relevant in the past, is it gonna be relevant in the future? And I know we discussed it last time, and there were talks of it maybe, but I haven't seen any evidence that it would be.
Right.
And if we've tried it already,
Well, they can help with grant writing for the PFOS problem. we
okay,
have.
I'm just,
Yeah.
if it's there, it's there.
Yeah, I think that they're a regional resource, so if we have anything that we need to write a grant for, we can go to them, and some things are charged, but, they try to also use in-house grants for any of that. And then Michelle also, added in some highlight projects, I don't know, do you have that one too on Sugar Hill? But they just did one up in Jackson too. And these ones stuck out to me, because they're traffic calming projects, and, I'm interested in the Main Street, but we'll get into that in the visioning session that we have in a minute here. But I'm hoping that we can lean on them for other projects that come from the master plan. We have housing, we have safety, planning, land use. So,
But the issue at hand right now is 1 through 4 of North Country Council's proposal that's going to stand us 19,735. And
yeah.
could you put together a quick description of that and a dollar amount to submit to the Board of Selectmen on Tuesday?
Yeah.
And if we all vote tonight to recommend that, then the Board of Selectmen can review it and make considerations.
Yeah, sure, and they can have the, proposal as well, I can send that over to Linda to show you guys.
Don't give them too much information.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big proposal, but, I mean, we can go over it as much as they want to.
Okay.
And then we can also take it to the budget committee.
Yeah, we'll take it to the Board of Selectmen on Tuesday, if we can get on their agenda, so. And then that'll move us forward, which is a good direction.
Yeah, that's really what I'm asking for tonight. I mean, it is the suggestion of the steering committee, to move forward with this plan. And I know we've kind of debated it back and forth, quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think we're finally comfortable
Yeah,
with,
scope and direction and
Yeah.
just how much, but I think this
Yeah.
was a good compromise on, you know, both schools of thought. So-
Yeah.
So I'd entertain a motion.
Yeah, I give you a
Make
motion.
Mr. Chairman.
So a motion is made
I'll
and
second it.
seconded.
Well,
Sorry.
she can't.
Yeah.
She's
You're not
an
voting
alternate
for it.
now that you're back.
You just lost your status.
Oh, I'm not an alternate anymore. I can't even vote on this. Oh gosh, guys, okay.
Sorry, I pulled you out.
I'll second it.
A
Okay.
motion is made and seconded
you.
to present to the selectmen at their earliest convenience a budget of 17,735 to complete the first 4 phases of our master plan update.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask Gary a question real quick? As a member of the BOS, should I abstain from this vote as I'm gonna vote on it again in 6 days?
Yes.
Thank you. I did it the last time, but I wanna make sure I was doing the right thing.
He's
Yeah.
good.
So, in Kia will have a brief outline to present
Yep.
to the BOS, whether it's this Tuesday or 2 weeks from Tuesday.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
One abstention. Tia, just so you know, we meet on Monday, not Tuesday,
Oh, on Monday? Okay.
because Tuesday is Veterans Day.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Okay.
And I'll put in there because it
Was it election? There was no elections here yesterday, was there?
was Maine, Massachusetts.
Okey dokey, that would be on Monday. Let's see.
And then we would need the warrant article as well. Do we wanna do
And-
that this
No,
year?
we can do that later.
We got it next time.
Later?
We
Okay.
have till,
We got time to do
we
it.
have plenty of time for that.
Okay.
Let's get
Just
them to
wanna-
spend enough money, they're gonna have to give us money to finish it. But I think we're in an incredibly reasonable place for a complete master plan, so I have no problem with that, so.
Okay.
We are going to skip the visioning prom. The chairman has nothing to report.
Hold on, Pike Industries, you were going to vote, when we had the site visit, you were going to vote to cancel the bond on map 207 lot 4.
Okay. And that's what they want?
Do you remember that? I
Yes.
hope. That was October
Yes.
16th at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yes.
I-
And
He
we're
didn't
all
seem
there.
he didn't seem to care that they were paying for it, but
Right.
me, if I was a taxpayer, I wouldn't wanna be paying for a bond on a piece of property we don't even have a permit to excavate.
But they pay for it.
And he said when they come back and
Something about it feels immoral to me.
I know.
This is government.
I don't know. I don't wanna
I mean,
reach into my
it's up to
pocket, I
you.
don't wanna reach in his.
And if he files for a permit, then they'll provide a bond.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make a motion, we'll just scrap it.
I will make a motion to allow Pike to cancel the bond on tax map 207 lot 4, until which time they apply for an excavation
second it.
permit.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Should we just, might as well do budget, quickly?
Yes, we gotta vote on that, because we changed.
Cause that has to be
it.
done.
Is that-
We went to, did our budget last year, bumping up our legal line, last month, bumping up our legal line, and we put a line in for North Country Council membership that was incorrect, and so we corrected it, so it will be a total of $16,450. So I guess I would entertain a motion to approve presenting to.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
No, wait, Mark, did you say 16 or 19?
No, that has nothing to do with
Oh.
North Country. No,
This
that's
is-
the
this
full
is our-
budget.
Oh, the
This is
full
the
budget,
plan.
okay, sorry.
Planning board's operation budget.
Oh, gotcha.
Motion been made
I'll second.
and seconded, to present this budget to the selectmen. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
One abstention, Kate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then we have
Chairman's
we
report.
have the selectmen's report.
would've liked to see your budget last week. Nothing to report, we're in the middle of budget season. Everything's hectic,
Okay,
but we haven't seen budget from DBW yet. We've seen rec and library, so you guys aren't that far behind the 8 ball.
okay. Doesn't the director there have some experience on the select board?
He sure does.
Okay. Correspondence and administration, it says discussion with Carrie Roman Esquire about required zoning changes.
Mark, one question, you didn't have anything to report either, right? For your report, you had nothing to report from Sharon's report?
No.
Oh, I'm not on here, but, so CIP,
Yeah.
since it's a function of the planning board, I have a quick report, just that we had our first meeting, and it is Joy, Gray, and, Sharon, and we're having a meeting tomorrow, and we have, everything we need really from the department heads, and then we also reached out to boards to see if they have any feedback for us too. But we should have DPW, we have police, fire, and they've all filled out our CIP. So that's good. Good so
Good.
far.
Mr. Chairman, and I'm gonna poke her again, she's sitting here, we're paying her to sit here, so I might as well ask the question. Because town meeting voted to implement a CIP committee, statutorily, it's no longer a function of the planning board, correct? It's a function of the CIP committee. Not that I don't love your report, I do wanna hear it, it doesn't ever have to come back here because it's not our function anymore.
I don't know.
They gave it away.
Yeah.
I think you're right, but I would
Okay.
have to,
Okay.
Yeah.
so I think it makes
I'm
sense
just
to
your
give
rep.
like a 30,000-foot view because it will affect any zoning amendments and things, just, developments and, that kind of thing that you might wanna do in the future, but I think that you're right. If
Yeah.
that's not correct, I'll send an email, but I'm pretty sure that's correct.
No, you're still our rep to the CIP and I still wanna hear the report, I just wanna make sure that it
It's not a
doesn't have to
planning
come
board
back
role.
here for, the CIP doesn't need planning board approval once it's
Yeah,
done.
it's not our domain.
Just select board, I think.
I don't even know that it needs a select board
No.
approval, it doesn't, I mean, if we wanna follow it, we have to approve it,
Yeah,
but it's now that committee's document. It doesn't
Okay.
belong to
so
anybody else.
you give it to the select board and to the planning board for you to implement and raise money and do, raise
Right.
funds if you want, but, yeah, you don't have to.
Right. Thank you.
Okey doke, now discussion.
So this would be a joint.
Yeah, this is a joint thing, yeah, I know.
There were many, many, many amendments to the law this year that affect zoning and land use. And so your zoning ordinance and site plan and subdivision regulations are gonna need some changes in order to be compliant with the law. So, some examples are, we just talked about one tonight with the release and waiver for class 6 roads. It's, town used to have more control over that, being how they could deny it if they want, and now you have less control. That's really a select board role, but your regulations are gonna have to be amended to account for that. I don't know if your parking spaces might have to be amended because you can now only require 1 parking space per residential unit. So, that might have to be looked at, and I know that your ADU is gonna have to be amended. The accessory dwelling units.
No acreage minimum anymore.
So there's several things that were changed for accessory dwelling units, that you have to allow detached by right. You can't require that it be family members. The size of the dwelling units, that you're allowed to restrict it to has changed. So,
And our ordinance says, including provisions for sleeping, cooking, eating, and sanitation for their extended family,
yeah,
or to offer small dwelling units as rentals.
so we have to take out
We
the
have to
family
take
requirement.
that, yeah.
So,
With all these changes, are we gonna have to come up with something that we present to the town meeting?
That's
Town meeting?
correct.
Oh, yeah.
So it would be zoning amendments that would come from this
From
board,
this
so
board, correct.
Kate and I are looking for your permission to, for me, and it wouldn't be a lot, cause I'm already doing it for other towns, to work with Kate to kind of redline and put together
I've been
the
researching
warrant
it.
articles.
Mhm.
that this board would then present to go onto the warrant.
Town meeting,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you have to have a public, we have to do that, we have to get going on that, because you have
Very
to have a
quickly.
public hearing.
Because we have, our deadlines, we have those all here too. Last day to hold a first public hearing on adoption or amendment of zoning ordinance is January 15th. So we don't have much time.
No, and how many of our zoning laws do you think need to be amended
We
at
have
this
to
point?
really go through it, but we know
So your
those
ADU
were topics, big topics.
Your
When you said
class six
ADU, what was the
ones.
difference in size?
So
From
it's
800
now
square
it's
feet.
between 750 and 950. That's the size range that state law mandates. So I'm thinking 3, maybe 4 warrant articles, because the ADU one, we could put all in one.
In one, yeah.
Right, isn't that better? So that, yeah, so, I'm thinking 3, maybe 4 warrant articles. And then other things that have to change in your subdivision or site plan regulations, like maybe some of the road stuff, that obviously you can do without town meeting. So we'll focus on the town meeting stuff.
Right, because that's a deadline.
Yeah.
That's what's making me nervous.
Well, so what I would like, because you'd have to spend some money for me to work with Kate, so I'd like to work with Kate on a limited budget, get that to you hopefully for your next meeting, and then if it all looks good, you can then post it for a public hearing for January.
Kate, what is our time frame on this? We have to have it done by January or February?
We have to have a public hearing.
No, I know that, but when does it have to be submitted for the article?
Oh, I would be doing
It's
it
like
like,
February.
Second,
Yeah. Yeah.
February.
second Tuesday in February?
so
Something
I'd
like
really
that.
like to get moving on this in December.
Ideally, it'd be you'd have the language to you in December.
Right.
So that you can, either think, I like this, I don't like that, change that word, and then Kate or I can revise it, so
Yep.
that's how you like it, and then January you have your public hearing.
Public
and then-
hearing January, okay,
Then you
that's
can
what I'm
go.
trying to
We're
get at.
cutting it.
And if we don't make changes, we can just have one public meeting.
That's right, yeah,
Yeah.
having it in January allows you to have one more public hearing if you need it, but hopefully you won't.
This is all stuff we can't change anyways, right?
January 22nd is
Right.
the last day for to post and publish another hearing.
They need to sit on
I
their
gave
hands.
this to you guys, I
Monica.
gave you guys this little handout already, so I'm moving on it because I'm afraid that we weren't going to, so I kinda took the bull by the horns and talked with Carrie Ann and kinda researched it, and I think that we,
I haven't spent any time on it yet.
No.
Right, that's why I was asking first.
cause I kinda prompted her yesterday and said, by the way, so she wasn't ready for this tonight, but I just wanted to bring it to you guys because we have to do something.
What happens if we just ignore it?
Then you either, when applications come before you, you either ignore your zoning ordinance and follow the state law, which
Right.
could be problematic if there's an appeal,
Mhm.
or you follow the state law and ignore, I mean, one or the other, if there's ever an appeal, it's very problematic.
And doesn't the state trumps our zoning
Well, state
ordinance?
preempts, but it would
Right.
just be very,
If we were to follow ours and ignore the state and they appeal, then we're gonna lose in court.
And
Probably.
So
so
it's-
like a single parking space per dwelling unit. In Idlewise, I mean, there would be opportunities that would be useful, but not functional.
yep, agree?
Well, it just sounds to me like the
Maybe
state's
that-
forcing shit down our throat like they have been for the last 250 something years.
So what do you,
Just saying.
so you just have to go with it? Huh.
I suspect that if it becomes unworkable, which it will for some communities, particularly heavily, it will become unworkable, some of this stuff. And then there'll probably be a change in the law back.
Right.
But for now, this is where we are.
It's just like anything else, it works in Manchester and Concord, so why
Right.
wouldn't it work here?
Yeah, we can do it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Do you have
But-
any suggestions to, like, help it work here?
So my only suggestion is that, we have to do, like, I'll do it in the least impactful way, to the extent that we can, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but then I guess my only other suggestion is to talk to your representatives, to be like, hey, this is a horrible idea for towns like us.
Such a good mark.
Who probably haven't read this and don't understand what you're saying anyways. So if somebody wanted like 3 parking spaces and they had the property, they can do that.
Yeah, so we can only tell them they have to have,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can't tell them they
You
have to have
can't tell
two.
them they
They
have
can
to
do
have-
all they want.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a means to allow more dense residential development.
I'm
That's
just
the
gonna-
state is imposing zoning on town. The state is-
Contrary to our
Yeah.
current master plan and everything we've been trying to do since Madison was founded.
What about the lot sizes in Edelweiss? Because they have water, their lot sizes are smaller.
No, because they did it before subdivision.
Yeah, before there's any
regulations.
subdivision regulations.
It's already
Yeah, it's all,
smaller.
yeah.
But the new state law.
So there will be controls on it, to your, right, like, so if you have a small lot size as it is, and they simply can't, like, anyways fit another parking spot, they're gonna have one regardless. So for the small lot sizes, I'm not sure it's gonna make a difference, because they're probably pre-existing as it is, and so on and so forth. This is more of if a subdivision comes in, and it's a cluster or a tight subdivision, they're probably gonna get larger density, more units, because they don't have, I mean, it's not gonna be a lot, I mean, but it's gonna be more, because now they don't have to have as much parking.
It's also designed too for places like Concord, Manchester, the
It's for the
cities.
cities,
Where
yeah.
somebody wants to come in and take a 2-family house and make it a 3. So you used to have 2 parking spaces per unit, now there's only gonna be 1 parking space per unit. So, and they have to go and either that or get a variance from the Board of Appeals to be able to do it. So, I mean, it's covering the whole state, not just towns like us.
So, yeah, unfortunately, you don't have a choice. I don't think it's gonna have massive impact to towns like you, but it will increase some density for some subdivisions that come before you, for sure.
And some of these changes have already gone into effect.
Yeah, so that's the other crazy thing, is they said
Yeah.
effective date before town meeting season, so we're
Yeah,
already in
July,
violation.
and I was like, what are we doing? So,
Okay.
So, I
So,
mean, I
are you-
assume you need a motion
like
to allow
something to-
Kate
to-
and Carrie Ann to dive into this and present us with something at our next meeting.
Right, cause it's asking to spend legal fees above and beyond what you normally do.
and we're gonna be over anyway. So.
Everybody's over.
Yeah, it is, I mean, it is what it is, I mean, it is what it is, you know? I don't know what to
I
tell
just
ya.
take myself up back at this point. But I made a motion to allow them to
Yeah.
move forward with this.
Yeah, second it.
Motion been made and seconded to allow our staff and our attorney to move forward with drafting regulations for our zoning ordinance. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You guys have it. Oh, and you're here for the next one too, and I have to leave, don't I?
See you.
I did want Carrie
Wasn't,
to stay.
Carrie Ann was here specifically to talk, or we had one other specific question, I don't know if we ever got the answer to it. And it was in regards to, it came up with the condo. We were talking about revamping our zoning on, multiple units on one block.
That's like the ADU, yeah, that's the same, because Edelweiss has it very stated in their, hold on, where is the zoning ordinance? Hold on.
And I'm
Having
sure,
multiple units on a single lot,
Mm-hmm.
what we went through with a previous case not too long ago, that I don't even wanna bring up. And Edelweiss's language is, let me find it. Earmark.
Oh, that's right, we wanted to revise that.
Yes,
Now
well,
yes.
I-
specifically
Yeah.
because I didn't want to allow them to do it, but the advice was that you should.
Correct.
Because your zoning doesn't stand for what you're asking for, even though that's what you wanted.
It's in here, I just keep my
Yes.
finger right on it.
That's okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep,
That
yep.
we had noted that we need to fix that language to
That
say
was
what
on
we
the
wanted to
last
say.
case that we
Yes.
had just gone through, yes.
Yes. And I actually think I already have that language drafted, because I was doing
Okay.
it at the time, so I will include that with the amendments
Yep.
about multiple
Yep.
units on a single lot.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you for reminding me.
Now you can go, Mark.
Okay,
Take me with you.
Yeah, really.
Right.
it's being, I wanna stay, no. It's being, number 11, colon pit, non-public session for RSA 91A:3 I, consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in written or orally to one or more member of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present. And I have a conflict of interest again.
Well, I will make the motion to enter that non-public session.
Okay, we'll take a verbal vote on it.
Who's doing the second? Adam made the motion.
Paul,
I'll second it.
Thanks.
And we don't need to be elevated, right?
No,
Okay.
No.
Nope, sorry, I'm reading.
So you got a motion from me and Paul seconded.
Okay,
Thank you.
all in favor?
Aye.
let's do a roll call.
I got a
Yep.
verbal vote.
Yep.
Carl, we'll start with you.
Aye.
Sorry, I'm reading and attention.
Aye.
They're not elevated.
Paul Marks, aye.
Paul Littlefield, aye.
Adam, aye.
So we won't, no more